Hi, this is Sherita Herring, and you are with Beverly Hills to Barnyard. I'm so glad that you're with me today. You're listening to the WCEG network on WCEGtalkradio.com or watch us live on your smart TV, YouTube, and the WCEG network. We're the worldwide community empowerment group where we speak life into the community. Like WCEG on Facebook, follow on Twitter or Instagram at WCEG underscore radio, underscore talk underscore radio, and at WCEG network. Last but not least, the topics and opinions of those are of the show host and guests and not the WCEG network. Thank you so much for your continued support. Now, today, this is a really, really important show for me, and I'm hoping that it will also provide a lot of information that many of you have been wondering about, because I have a very special guest, and now she has become a dear friend. She is an ER trauma nurse and SANE RN, that's a sexual assault nurse examiner. This is Loretta Cummings that I'm going to bring to you today. Lori's vast knowledge has exposed her to a plethora of people, experiences, and opportunities. Currently working with hospice, she is making a huge difference, not only with the patients that she serves, but also she brings hope, support, and respite to countless families, including me and my family. She has excelled in life and her career against unthinkable life circumstances. For instance, she was adopted at the tender age of 3 or 4. She was involved in a horrific car accident at the age of 11 and went through extensive physical therapy. And she's had so many other just unconceivable tribulations that could have hindered a young girl, and especially that had already experienced so much. But against all odds, she overcame and knew that she wanted to do something to help people or animals. So in her adult life, she married a military man and lived in numerous places like Arizona, Alabama, Italy, and California. Satisfying her passion to help animals in her early career, she served as a vet tech for approximately 3 years. And after 11 years of marriage, she divorced, but she is an overcomer. And this is when she decided to become a nurse. There's so much more to tell about this wonderful woman, including being married to her wonderful husband, Rick. She has 4 fur babies, 2 dogs, 2 cats, and so much more. But without further ado, let you meet my wonderful guest, Lori Cummings. Hey, lady.
Hi, Shuby, as Janetta would say.
Oh, yeah. Look, just for you to say that almost made me cry, girl. We can't start that already. Again, for my audience, Lori, for the past 3 years or so, I have been dealing with, as the power of attorney, with senior facilities. She's in memory care, and I have just been about to pull my hair out. It's been very difficult also for my family. And now, months ago, Lori came into our life. And I just am so thankful for you, Lori. So tell us, what does it take, or how does someone know when it's time to even think about hospice for their loved one?
Coming onto hospice, it's a hard decision for anybody. We have patients that, like you're the DPOA, or like kind of what we call like the medical DPOA, and you're able to make those decisions for your loved ones. And then there's also the ones that need hospice care that don't have DPOAs but are in right of mind that can actually make their own decisions. So a lot of times it's hard because people view hospice as almost sending themselves or a family member to the grave.
Yes.
Which is not true.
Yes, that's what I thought. That's what I thought.
And yeah, and it's not. And we have patients that are on care for sometimes more than 2 years. Yes, by the law of like Medicare and stuff like that, it's a terminal illness like within 6 months, but that doesn't mean you can't stay on hospice services. Mm-hmm. So the decision is when you feel like this family needs more support than even what a facility, or if you're taking care of the patients at home, you need more support, and they're actually declining. So that's what hospice looks for, is decline. So whether that's like a 2 or 3 year decline or a 1 week decline.
Okay.
But
Like for instance, oh, I'm sorry. Were you going to say something else?
oh, I feel like hospice really provides a lot of companionship for people that maybe don't
Oh my
receive it.
God. You and your team definitely have. For instance, um, just for my audience, my aunt is a former gospel singer, and I sent Lori and her team clips of video links of my aunt singing gospel music, and they play those for her. Her nails are done. They sit and talk with her, even though my aunt has trouble communicating. They're learning what she is saying, and it's just unbelievable what you're doing with her. And I'm so happy about that. Now, as far as the decision, Lori, myself, I was so naive to what hospice is about, and I kept thinking, no, if I put her in hospice, that means that I'm saying I'm letting her go and she's dying. And it was someone that told me to call hospice, that knew that hospice offers those supportive services instead of, but when they first came to evaluate my aunt, she was at another facility and she was up and around and going, taking herself to the activities, going to lunch and dinner by herself and all of that. So she didn't qualify because she wasn't declining. She was just maintaining, as far as my understanding, as far as for her memory with dementia. But after she had the stroke, she had a stroke some months ago, and now she's lost the movement, steady movement on her left side. She's not taking herself to lunch. And then when hospice came back and evaluated, then she was able to get hospice. So it's not that she was dying, it's just she had declined. And that's what I want
Right.
people to understand. Yes. So Lori,
Hospice,
how long can
I'm
someone be on
sorry,
hospice?
say it again.
How long can someone be on hospice? Is there a set time frame?
I mean, like I said, by Medicare, it's supposed to be 6 months terminal, but we do recertifications throughout the process of hospice care. And if we still continue to see a decline, then that patient's gonna be, and even if we don't see a decline, but if they are in need of our services, then that patient will still be acceptable onto hospice. So it just, one, it can depend on like the hospice company and what they see as a patient that's valid, but we're looking at quality of life over quantity of life when a patient comes onto hospice. We're looking to provide comforts, and that's our main, we don't want to do anything invasive.
Okay. Well, I know that you definitely have helped with her quality of life. And so the thing is, so if someone is considering hospice, hospice comes in if they have a terminal illness, even if it's dementia or anything, something that they're not going to get over, right? They are not going to heal from it, and it can end up taking their life. So
Right.
what are some of those illnesses that someone may have that they may want to be as far as their loved ones, that they may want to start looking at hospice? What are some of the illnesses that that patient may have?
So even we do occasionally get younger patients with ALS. That's something that's can be very debilitating. We have a lot of congestive heart failure patients, pulmonary hypertension, dementia, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's disease, a variety of those, a variety of cancers that's just as metastasized and is no longer treatable. I mean, it can be an extraordinary amount of things that just kind of build up and add up, unfortunately, as we age.
Okay. Now, I want to say this while it's on my mind. I'm going to have Lori come back because I know that I won't be able to get all of the questions answered that I'd like. But to my audience, if you have questions, please send an email to me so that when I have Lori on again, I can make sure and get your questions answered. So email me at Sherita at philanthropyalliance.org. Sherita at philanthropyalliance.org. Send me an email and I'll make sure it included also in the comments. And it will be also posted on the website. But if you have questions, if you are a caregiver, your family has someone that you're considering, do you even qualify for hospice? Send me your questions. Now, Lori, as far as when hospice does come in, like with my dad, he had congestive heart failure before he ended up transitioning. And I was doing so much often by myself, even though I had brothers and sisters. My brothers and sisters were working, another brother lived out of state. And with me being able to work from home like I do now, a lot of his care fell on me. I could have gotten hospice then and I didn't know it. What are some of the services that hospice would do when they come in?
So, especially for your situation, we can even provide what we call a respite care, where we can allow the caregivers, because not to take away from the patient, but sometimes the caregivers are actually struggling so much more with this. And so we're not only there for the patient, but we're there for the caregivers, the family. And so we can provide respite care for 5 days, which a lot of times that means the patient would go to a facility where they'd be cared for the 5 days, but that allows some allowance to the family or caregiver, a little bit of a break. We can also provide me seeing the patient sometimes twice a week. If we need more, I can up that. We also have aides that can come in and help assist with showering, be there. Like, I have a patient right now where she just wants help to go outside and have her dogs walked, but she wants to be out there with them. And so it's something as little as that. And so a lot of times we can be in a patient's home, especially when they first come into hospice, maybe 4 times a week. It depends on how the patient wants it staggered, if they want the nurse and the aide at the same time and things like that. And some people like it staggered throughout the week.
Well, and you guys have a crew of people. I mean, you have a clergy, you have not a psychologist, what's her
social worker,
an
yep,
aide,
chaplain, social worker, aide,
right?
LPNs, nurses. I mean, it's a whole team, and we can find so much assistance. If you need to get on like Medicaid, we assist with that. And so there's a lot of help, because I know like it's a financial struggle, but this is covered. So, and I want people to know that they have the ability to access this and to reach out.
Oh my goodness, it is such a tremendous help for us, that I just, again, that's why I wanted you to come on, because most people do not, when they think of hospice, they think doom. And I'm here to tell you that it is not doom. Whatever is going to be happening to your loved one is going to happen anyway. And I mean, we all are here temporarily. So when you are there where there's assistance that is needed, like what hospice provides, please check into this, because again, it gives just an amazing opportunity for your loved one to experience a better quality of life. I mean, I've been on video chat. I'm not in the same city with my aunt, and Lori will call me and we're on video. And of course, I can hardly talk to my aunt because I'm crying the whole time, but Lori is there, and my aunt is smiling and I can see her eyes glistening, and it's just such an amazing thing, Lori. And I've said it time and time again how much you've brought joy to my heart. And I almost don't want to share you with anybody, but at the same time, it's so important for other people to know just how valuable you and your services, not just you, but you are special. Just how valuable that hospice can be for families. So now, when when hospice evaluates, what are some of the things that they will look at initially? Like if you go in and you talk to a family, what are some of the ways that you're evaluating that patient?
We evaluate a lot of times on weight loss or weight gain, in the sense of if you have like congestive heart failure, things like that, there can be a presentation of like swelling and things like that, which would cause unnecessary weight gain.
Mm-hmm.
Or, like I said, a decline in appetites,
Mm,
a decline in mobility, a decline in being able to care for oneself.
okay.
Um, and so we look at a lot of that. And also we look at kind of what the family can take and where they're at the time.
Uh-huh.
And so are they at home? Are they at a facility? What needs can they do for themselves and what needs can they not do for themselves anymore?
Uh-huh.
So
Now tell
does
me
that
this.
make sense?
Yes, yes. Now, for instance, when I was in the home with my father, and there were just some days that I just wish I could have gone to the gym. Um, could I leave the facility with a hospice person in the home, or would I have to stay in the home while the hospice person is there?
So that depends on the family member. If they're okay with allowing the nurse or aide to be there um, while the family member takes like a little break, that's fine. We
Uh-huh.
do, sometimes appointments are limited. So we can't stay there all day a lot of times, but that's also dependent on what the patient is going through at that time. And
Okay.
so let's say if we are actively in the process of transitioning and dying, we can offer services that we call vigil, to where we try to provide care to that family and the patients as much as we can, up to like a 24-hour process.
Okay. So if I were going to go to the gym, that would me go to the gym, then go shopping, then go have some lunch and have left you there for 4 hours.
That may not be possible, unfortunately.
Right. But just someone coming in, again, the services that I've even seen that you're providing for my aunt, just for sometimes to just sit and talk to someone that understands. You and I have had extensive conversations. I mean, I feel like I've known you now for 20 years, just because when you can talk to someone that truly, truly understands what you're going through, they know the patient. And Lori, it seems like you love her almost as much as I do. It just can make you
I
feel
do.
so much better, you guys. I mean, please know that when you have a Lori, you've got a godsend. I'm grateful for you. Lori, there it takes special people to do what you do, because the thought of me losing my aunt, if I think about it too much, I get emotional. You deal with this every single day. So, what do, if someone is considering this kind of career, I mean, is there some kind of mind exercise that you take yourself through to deal with this? How do you deal with this every day?
Oh, I guess that's a question you ask yourself every day when you wake up. It's it's how you see it and it's how you view it. And I view it as I'm getting to share this precious moment and this precious time with the patients and the family members. And it's such a vulnerable time. And to allow to let for the family to let me in during this process, it's a privilege.
Mm,
And to know that I'm not only providing comfort to the family, but providing comfort to the patient so they can, their wishes can be sought out. Like if they choose to die at home, I want to give them that chance to be able to die at home and be surrounded by family and loved ones. And so I viewing it as a privilege and an honor to be almost a family member, and to be able to take care of that patient during those last minutes and take care of the family. Not even we still check in with the family way after the patient has passed. Like I said, it's not just the patients, it's the families too. And I view it as an honor and being able to give a gift of life and comforts.
Well, you definitely do that all the time. Um, because like I said,
Oh,
even the thought of losing my aunt, and you've been so significant. Um, you guys, if you have not considered hospice, it is such a tremendous service. Start checking into it, seeing what's in your area, because they have truly, um, I mean, even just the actual the it's almost like a bib that Lori got to put on my aunt and to keep her from soiling her gown that she sleeps in. I mean, they do these extra things that I know is not a part of the job. But when you have a Lori, let's pray that you get one. Um, they just make such a difference. So please know that it is not a doom um, process when you do this.
no.
It is definitely something that can not only ease your spirit, ease your stress level, but it can truly make a difference for those that you are taking care of, that you want to have a better quality of life. And again, we all are here for such a short time. But when you see someone that is approaching their transition time, you still want it to be um, as wonderful as possible. You know, the other day I was talking to my son, Lori, and I related to I'm a plant lover. I love plants. And whether you have an annual that's only going to be here that's only going to live from spring to frost, or whether you have a perennial that's going to keep coming back, you take care of it just as well as those that you know have a longer time to live. And that to me, that's what hospice is. You know, it's that annual that is coming into its season. And
Oh my gosh, I love that metaphor. I'm getting
oh
the
my
chills.
God, you've been such a godsend. And so I wanted to bring you on. I wanted people to feel you like I have. I wanted people to know not to look at hospice as a doomsday and to fear it,
No.
but to check into it because it truly will make a difference, not only with the family, but for your loved ones. So, um, Lori, we still got 10 minutes. So let's talk about you and your life. Let's do a lighter subject. Tell us about your husband, your wonderful husband, Rick.
Oh my goodness. He's a very tall, gangly,
Handsome.
goofy, goofy
Handsome.
guy.
Yeah, yeah. And you guys, you've
Um,
been together how long?
since 2017.
Yeah,
Yes. Sorry.
yeah,
Um, and we were married recently. I guess it's coming up on 2 years now.
yeah.
And he swore off animals before he met me, of course. Then he comes into a household of where when you take a dog for a walk, there's cats that are going on a walk with you.
Yeah. And you know, I think his personality also helps with the work that you do because see, I've
Oh,
seen
he
him
is so
too.
supportive.
Yeah. And so you've got that support system when you come home, which is important. I mean, one of my clients, which is a counselor, said a counselor even needs a counselor, you know? And
And you do.
yeah, yeah. And so I love that. And that's another thing, just not only talking to you, but meeting him, it also gives me a little bit more um, insight onto who you are, and it just gives me that confidence on you being spending so much time with my aunt. And I want to thank Kayla also. I don't want to forget her. And
Yes.
oh my
Oh,
gosh,
she's
I can't
amazing.
think of she's amazing. Um and so now if someone is considering this career, you started out as an RN, right? Hospice
Yep.
wasn't your target. So
Not originally.
as an RN, what led you into going into hospice?
I guess it was some nursing school rotations that I had. I had the ability to be on an oncology unit. So it was bone
Now, what's
marrow
oncology?
cancers. Yep. Or onco so cancer. So bone marrow cancer, blood cancers, things like that. So like if you think of leukemia.
Okay.
Um, and so I was on that unit. Then I was also able to work on a memory care unit. And I also went to Belgium to understand their hospice and palliative care unit. So I was very much exposed to this realm, um, that I'm not sure that a lot of people actually get, because people think of like nursing, oh, well, I'm going to go work in pediatrics or things like that. And so you kind of have to ask for to be exposed to something like this. And a lot of people shy away from something like this because it's uncomfortable.
Yes. Yes. I know that anytime I heard about hospice, again, my mind went to doom, and I'm like, oh no, she's not ready for hospice. She's not ready for hospice, you know? Well, I'm not going to give your information, but Lori, if someone wants to find out about hospice, there's particular areas or regions that they would need to contact, right? What would they do?
Correct. So, I mean, you can do a simple Google search. If you have access to a computer or able to go to a library or something like that, you can just type in hospice care near me. Um, most places are people that send out people like me or aides to different facilities and home agencies, or like assisted living, independent living, memory care homes. But there are some facilities that will take patients that are
Mm,
strictly hospice
okay.
facilities. So
Okay.
just typing in something hospice care near me. Also checking in with Medicare.
Ah,
Medicare does have access to a lot, um, and going throughout that process. And so there's a lot of ways to find out. And
well,
go ahead where you get. Sorry.
I know that I was um, just uneducated about it all, and even dealing with Medicare. I don't even know the difference between Medicare, Medicaid, and just all of that. And
Oh,
so,
that's a process.
yeah, it has helped me to navigate through these uncharted waters for me. I mean, I've just been lost. Well, Lori, we are down to under 3 minutes, and see how quickly the time goes. We've got 2 minutes left.
Yes.
First, I want to thank you because I see you're in your car, which means that you were en route to work to make a difference in somebody's life. So I want to thank you so much for coming on. I do want to have you on again. And the show is going, I got one more show before the radio show goes on, the station goes on hiatus for the summer. But I definitely want to book you to come back and just tell us more about who you are and what's going on with you. And even some of the, just not only the things that would bring us down, but highlights of what has happened. Like, give me one with my aunt. I mean, what brings you, how is it working with my aunt,
Oh,
Jeanette Bradley?
so like I said, this is where it comes in, like finding like what you look at, like how you see something. And like going to see Janetta, like she's just, when she talks to me and when she talks about you and she says, I love you, and I can understand it. And when she smiles and laughs when I come up to her, like that's what I love. And like she recognizes me, she knows who I am, she loves to play with my hair. Um,
You know, she was a beautician
yeah,
all 40
exactly.
years. Well, Lori, I want to thank you so much for coming on. I love you dearly. I appreciate the information that you have shared. We would definitely have you back on again.
I can't wait to be back on again, and hopefully I did okay.
You did wonderful. You did wonderful. Thank you, dear.
Thank
You
you.
to you guys for listening. This is Sherita with Beverly Hills to Barnyard. I know the show went really fast, and I will bring Lori back to you again. Join me next week. It is my very last show for the season, and my very special guest is Dr. Lyons. It's going to be amazing. Again, Sherita with Beverly Hills to Barnyard. Have an absolutely phenomenal day. Great weekend coming.